If you can't get your land deals funded, it's not the deal. It's how you're presenting it to investors. And I can't tell you how many DMs I've received of people that just give me the location, the parcel number, and the buy price. Then they ask me if I'll fund the deal. That's it. They practically want me to comp it, let them know if it's a good deal or not, and then at that point be able to receive my funds anywhere from 20,000 all the way up to something like $500,000 for one deal. And that's all the information that they give me. So me as an investor, I'm not even going to respond to that. And this is a huge problem within the land flipping space, especially as more and more people are becoming operators looking for deals to get funded for them. Now, in this video, what I'm going to cover is how to best present a deal to somebody to get responses and also get it funded at the end of the day. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Anthony Weiler. I've been a land flipper since 2022, and I've coached hundreds of people in the space on getting their first deal while being able to grow and scale their business from there. Now, what I have pulled up on my screen is a simple Google slide. Something simple like this is all that you really need. And what I have pulled up is actually the first deal that I did back in 2022. So what we're going to go through in this exercise is one, I'm going to show you the slides, very, very simple. And then also just going through the deal, comping it, and showing you exactly what you need. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So as you can see here on the slide, it's two slides. So simple one is just deal funding request, the acreage and the county, the location, then also a photo if you have a photo. If not, you could use a screenshot of the parcel from Land Portal, Land Insights, whatever data provider that you're using, just to show the layout of the parcel. So this is all the information that you need in terms of the scope of the deal when you're starting off, when you are first reaching out to investors to see if they're interested in funding it. So what we have, the scope of the deal, we have the county and the state, the acreage size, parcel number, and we're going to go through the buy price and the expected sales price together. I'm actually going to be comping this out to show you. We have the closing date. So let's say we're under contract and this is expected to close on, was that April 30th of this year. And I'm also going to break down the expected time frame to sell based off the comps that we're looking at. And then detailed breakdown is actually the video that we're going to be doing, copying this out together. Now, one thing that you also want to mention as well to the investors is if they are interested to respond within 48 hours, because we're reaching out to multiple investors. One is that it increases scarcity, right? We want them to be like, okay, there's a time crunch and I could potentially lose out on this deal, depending on how the numbers look, right? And the expected time frame. And we'll also provide more information if they're interested in funding. So the actual due diligence, right? So think of zoning, right? Are there any restrictions tied to the property? What type of utilities are set up? Things like that is the information that we will provide down the road once they are actually interested in wanting to fund, because we're going to be comparing other investors to see what their rates are, and we're going to be shopping around. So it's very important. So again, extremely simple. All I did was use a blank Google slide, added this information. That's it. That is all you need. So let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the deal itself. Okay, so as you can see on my screen here, I have the land portal pulled up, and wow, this is crazy. This looks so much different from when I bought this or flipped this back in 2022. They've definitely done a lot of development. It was completely wooded. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the layout of the land. Let's go ahead and I'll just do street view because I want to understand a little bit more, because we do see, let me actually put the archive back real quick, because I do see immediately these are power lines right here. So I do see power lines going straight through the property, which can be definitely a concern regarding the end buyer. But it looks like there is a little road right here as well too. I wonder if there's an easement. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. So let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, it definitely is. Looks like a utility easement there. Everything else seems fine. Wooded right here for privacy. And then that back portion is cleared. Let's go ahead and take a look at everything else. Let's take a look at the slope, flood zone, wetlands, all that is fine. Now, I'm going a little bit more in depth as well too with you in terms of comping this out and reviewing it. But when it comes to presenting this to an investor, make it short, sweet, and to the point. You could say we have clear, easy physical and legal access here off of Uni Royal Road. You could even address to potential easement as well too, but that if you have that information already, you could just clarify that really quick on that. But everything checks out here, again, with contour lines, flood zone, wetlands, so no issues regarding the immediate layout of the land. Now what we want to do is we want to take a look at the pricing. Now let's go ahead and turn on city limits and see where this is at. Oh, interesting. This is inside city limits. I don't remember it being inside city limits when I had first done this. Okay, cool. So we're right off of the highway. Let's just turn those off. It's a little bit easier. Cool. Now let's pull up Lee County, Alabama. Let's go ahead and take a look. It's going to be a little bit harder to comp too, comping out a larger parcel inside city limits as well. We may have to go slightly outside city limits, but I want to do sold comps and I want to make sure that I'm on lots of land only, 2 to 10 acres, because this property is 6 acres and 24 months. Let's see what it's like within the last 12 months. If we have comps to work with, and ideally we want to be inside city limits. That's normally a little bit different. Outside city limits, there's going to be less restrictions, and it's normally just a little bit harder to leverage those comps outside city limits versus inside city limits because you already have access to utilities. And again, there's a different set of restrictions that are tied to the property. Now, let's see here. It also depends how it's zoned. This should be zoned as residential, at least it was when I had flipped it. So let's see. Kind of have pricing all over the board. Really expensive as well too. Let me go a little bit more here, more so on the outskirts because I think we're by Highway 85. Yeah, we're Highway 85. That's where we're at. So I want to focus more so within this area here and see what we have. This is a public record. I'm not going to use that. 5.8 for 150, 2.97 for 64. So 21,000 an acre. That's interesting. 0.86 for 500,000. Okay, there's a lot going on there. It doesn't look like an actual true vacant land parcel. Gardenscape and landscape supplies. Is this already a setup business? Like, what is this? Savvy commercial investors. Okay. Interesting. Doesn't really give too much information regarding the photos there. Now here we have 5 for 70. Interesting. Not sure if that was someone inside of a car or something. Outside of city limits, but close enough to all the amenities. Okay. Listed for sale under contract relatively quick as well, too, at 80,000. So if ours was outside city limits, this would be a really good comp to be able to leverage. But again, ours is inside city limits. We may end up referring back to that. And I normally don't do deals inside city limits. It's actually quite surprising. So this is a really good exercise. 4.13, and I'm on for sale comps now too. So it's a little bit different because this isn't concrete in comparison to the sold data that we work with. Now this has pond access right here at the ledge, so definitely increases the attractiveness for sure. 18 days, 56 saves. So that makes sense. But since I don't have anything like right inside city limits here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just increase this to, let's say, 3 years. See if I get anything. We do not. Okay, we have some more, but man, 10 for 5. Yeah, we really do not have much. And the only one that seems to make sense to me, but this is outside city limits, though. So I would definitely be leveraging a realtor. But again, I normally don't do deals inside city limits. So let's use this example as one that is outside city limits, right? And so I would be leveraging this comp quite a bit. This would actually weigh most of my decision. And so for this is 14,000, give or take an acre, right? So let's go ahead and I'll just pull out my calculator here. So let's do 14,000 and we have 6 acres. So we're looking at around $84,000 is what it could sell for relatively quick too, based off of what we see here. Now, one thing that I'm curious on as well too, is we could always take a look at the land portal estimate, and that's crazy. We have 272, 670. Now these, I'm curious to know where they are using these comps to see how close they are, because it could be inside city limits and something that I may not be seeing. So this does help from time to time, but I always take it with a grain of salt. Here's a good example. Like, this is listed for sale. This is a house. It's 194 acres. And this is a sold comp that is 154 acres. So I'm definitely not going to use that. And again, for the sake of this example, we'll say it's outside city limits, right? So what I would be weighed heavily is this comp right here. That would really be a big part of my decision. Take a look at this one. We have 8 point. Okay, that's actually not linked correctly because that's actually listed for sale. This is a public record that's not linking correctly. So I'm definitely going to be weighing a lot of my decision on this. So again, the number that I have is 84,000 of what I think it would sell for relatively quick. So let's say the buy price that I get under contract for, let's say that I'm under contract for $40,000, which is great. That's the number that we would ideally want it at. Is normally investors want to be able to double, not necessarily their money, but if it's buy for 40, they need to sell for at least 80 or relatively close for it to make sense, to where there's less risk, because there are chances to where you may have to do price drops and move things quickly, and markets can change. So expected sales price, let's do 84,000. And then time frame to sell. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, we don't want to just go off this one comp. This is very promising though as well too. And that went under contract in around 2 weeks, right? So estimated time frame that I would be comfortable with, I would say around, whoops, let me go here. I would say sub 4 months. And the reason for that, there was someone that I was working for back in the day, running operations for their land flipping business. And one of the things that made tons of sense to me is under promise and over deliver, right? To where you really meet their expectations. Because I think this is something that could sell faster than 4 months. But if you give them a time frame of 4 months, that's what they're expecting. But then let's say you sell it within a month or two, that's a really good impression, right? So in terms of the detailed breakdown, you would just be dropping the link to this video, not this specific video, but it's going to show you comping it out quickly. It's going to show the pros and cons to it, any concerns that they can potentially have, and then why overall this is a good deal for them to invest in. So imagine that versus someone sending you a message saying, here's the location, here's the buy price. Are you interested in funding it? Like, compared to something like this. Because if you have something like this and I take a look, I'm going to be way more confident in funding it because you are dialed in, and I know that you're going to be working hard to be able to sell because you would be the manager of the deal, right? So I would be way more comfortable deploying my capital. Now, again, this is how to present deals to investors. Now you can leverage something like this and just copy this PowerPoint. It's extremely simple to do. But if you have any more questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.